to me, my anti-shiny object syndrome is, well, would I do that for 10 years? Do I, it's not even, do you see yourself doing that for 10 years? It's more like 10 years of that, at least am I okay with it? You know, it's.
What are we, the Joker? Oh yeah, that was a horrible movie. I haven't even seen it, but it
You
got really
actually
bad
watched it?
reviews.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I
No,
believe like
I
people
didn't
believe
actually
it's an.
watch it.
I've never watched it, and I really don't want to watch it. I feel like it's.
I mean,
Maybe
this.
Are you
I
talking
mean,
about
this.
the
maybe
new
it's
one
wrong.
or what?
Maybe it's really
Yeah, the
great.
new
And
one.
yeah.
The Joker.
Can
What
you
is
go,
it?
Teddy, and tell us
Milfalou?
if it was worth it?
Yeah, Teddy, can you go and see it?
I
What's it
think he
called?
was.
Joker
I'm not
Milfalou?
sure.
That's the
Wait,
kid.
why do you guys think it's bad?
Millefleur.
Like, what was the thing? I think
The reviews are
Just
really bad for the second.
yeah,
Oh,
Only the
it's
really?
second.
it's really rare. They're actually bad for both the critics and the public.
Very
They said they
interesting
didn't
because
understand if it was a musical. They didn't understand like they didn't like the ending. They didn't like the
maybe the
beginning.
expectations were set way too higher because of the actors and the
I
whole
don't.
thing.
Yeah, but then also people
I don't
started
know.
complaining when they started the previews. It just looked. It just. I'm not going to waste 2.5 hours. I'd rather do what makes me happy, which I
You don't have
think.
to waste because they're moving it. They're moving it to like online. I think next month for like super fast. So I bet you it's gonna be for free very soon on pretty much any
Yeah, they're gonna
platform.
release it as reels and shorts and on TikTok, and that's how you consume content these days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, spending
exactly.
3 hours on a movie, whatever. I think it's maybe some for some classics, but in general, I think it's just waste of time.
Mm.
Depends. I mean, we're all in theory just wasting time until we die. So, I mean,
Yeah,
so
look at useless. You're literally wasting time when it's like something really useless, like self-soothing watching a movie that doesn't really contribute to anything good.
but what
Yeah.
if it's like a really dumb movie
You
that
know,
you like? You know, most of the dumb movies though aren't 3 hours long, like really dumb movies.
uh, doesn't have to be done, but like there are some TV shows, for example, that people are playing in background when they are having a breakfast, lunch, whatever. The TV is on, and then you have Friends on. So it's just like something that goes as a background. So you don't really
Do you
put
watch do
mental
you
energy
watch
there. You don't really
sitcom
get anything.
shows? Do you watch sitcoms while you're eating brunch or lunch?
Not me. I'm not one of, yeah, I'm not in that category, but I know a lot of people who are.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch TV
Um,
shows, but like not like sitcoms as a background noise.
you watch just the intellectual TV shows.
And not necessarily. I watch dumb stuff.
So I think this week we wanted to talk about like what makes us happy. As you know, we're
Yeah.
post-exit founders. We're people too. Um, um, we had pretty heavy episodes the last couple of weeks, which were focused on moving on from things, shutting things down, closing, transitioning, and it's the holiday season approaching again. I was in Rome. I was in Rinascente, the department store, and they already had the Christmas decorations up. They didn't even have Halloween
Oh wow.
decorations up. I was like, wow. Of course, in New York they have Halloween, and I just got a text, from Disney World that Disney's Christmas is happening in early November, so get your tickets. So I think it's apt to say that this is the time of year where things start to get jolly. Um, Now, if you're a post-exit founder, maybe not so much if you're freaking about what to work on. But come on, give yourself a break.
Yeah.
You need it at some point. And I think this is like a
Okay.
similar thread to a conversation that we had in June or July of this year about the summer. And I think as we age, because none of us are 21 years old anymore, it's important to remember that life is also, worth living and doing things that you love. And we love to create things. Obviously, we love to create things. We love to create things with friends and um, non-friends as well. Frank always says friends, but when I think of friends, it's people that I enjoy spending time with, but not necessarily friends um, that I want to lose. But like, I think now it's important to also recharge a little bit and focus on what makes you happy so that as soon as the more difficult things come on the horizon, you have the energy um, to go and take the next step. And it is a crazy time in America. You know, we're not supposed to talk about politics. No, I'm kidding. We can talk about politics, but you know, we're like, what is it, 15 days away from the election. So there's a lot of
Mhm.
uncertainty. And I think if you're a post-exit founder right now, you got to do some things that make you happy. Like tonight, I'm going to a Broadway show. Normally, it's not a musical, I think, because if it was a musical, I'd be a little bit gayer
Is it
to go
is it the
alone.
Joker?
SNL did
It would have
SNL did
been.
it
It would have
great.
been. It would have been. I would have gone. I mean, like like the Joker, the musical with Lady Gaga. Yeah, that sounds great.
I mean, if it was in person, like live, Lady
Yeah.
Gaga, that actually would have been good. They could have spent all
I
the
would
money doing a
loved it.
broad.
Yeah, but it would have made more
Yeah.
money than with a movie, and it would cost a
Oh
lot
yeah.
less.
So and the guy who and the film director that Todd Phillips, right? That's his name, right? So he wasn't he? He was Will
Yeah,
Ferrell's producing partner and writing partner for many years, and they had a very big split. Um,
it was
he would have probably
the
had more
he was
fun.
doing like the Hangover, right?
Yeah. So it's like went from The Hangover to doing some very serious movies.
Dark
And
stuff. Yeah,
it,
and he
and
nailed
the
it. Like the first Joker was amazing.
well, it was just a copy
It
off
was?
of Taxi Cab, right? So,
Still, yeah, but
of
still was
Taxi.
great. And this
It
one,
was
It's
good.
this one
also
was,
boils down to the acting
and I
and
guess,
how
yeah, no,
Joaquin did
everything was
that.
great. The acting was great. I agree, it's Taxi Cab, but now I feel like he watched Cats or something. I don't know, just awful. It's like no, it's Cats.
Okay, so here's a funny non sequitur. So the guy who did
Mm,
Cats is actually married to
a
so
cat.
Founders Forum, the group.
Sorry again. Meow meow.
Joke
Meow
Jokes make
meow
us
meow
happy.
meow.
Married to so Founders Forum, the conference in the UK in London. So their former head of community, um, she's married to that director, and I haven't seen her in a few years. But I've never been able to ask like how does your husband feel post Cats? Um, but every director always has to have one bad, really bad movie. That's like the worst
Yeah,
movie of all time.
it's
So
like
you have a
Founders.
redemption.
Actually, that's a good
Yeah.
question to ask. Like, it's like what's your worst startup? What's
Oh.
your worst? What's your biggest? Because when you say biggest failure, nothing comes to mind. But if you say what's your worst startup, right away I can be like, oh my god, there's so many of them.
What was your worst startup? I can tell you mine, then Teddy, you can tell us yours.
My worst startup, I guess. I don't know actually. It becomes difficult. So I guess I still like. It's a good and bad one, right? Which was iDef, which was one of my oldest idea. idef.com. I even had the domain name at that time. I was in the late 90s, and I wanted to do a startup with IRC chatbot that would ask you quick questions. So when you die, people can know who you were and talk to your virtual avatar.
It seems like
And
actually
I
a
never
good
did it
idea.
because my dad said it's bad to make money out of sorrow. So every time I see now, people are like, "Oh my god, we can have AI avatar after we die." We're like, "I'd be said here years ago." I had a bunch like that. I remember back in the days, I was like, "I'm gonna finish to graduate." I was like 19, and then I'm gonna launch a beautiful computer. That was my plan. And then fucking Steve
Beautiful
Jobs
computer.
launched the whole iMac thing. Anyway, so I realized very early on I will just I don't know. He stole my idea very clearly.
But nobody
But
stole
that
any
was a great
other,
idea.
so it's a good idea.
Um,
Yeah, right.
no, you're kidding. You're kidding. No, it's not true. I was I my new deck, like the new deck I'm putting on is to be like, and because I talked about it at Tectalia, I was like,
Yep.
very soon we will not know who's human and who's not human, and we're gonna have to tag that, and we can use e-voting technology. And then I checked my phone yesterday, and what do I see? Sam Altman saying, "Oh, world coins becomes world, and it's gonna be very important because in the future with AI generating things, we'll need to be able to tag it with real human." I was like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, there's plenty of space for 5
Oh
companies
no,
that
and I think
Oh
exist.
I
yeah.
So
think
Oh yeah.
World is not gonna work. It's so scary. I want to make a happy version of it, but I don't know if anyone knows how to raise $200 million or I even take half of that, and I can definitely execute better than WorldCoin.
I've never
Anyway,
raised 200. I
but
mean, I've raised
yeah,
300 million, but not 200.
no, but I
what's
don't know how
your
much we
worst idea,
raised.
Gabriel?
No, Teddy. What is your worst idea?
I clearly remember this project, which started with two friends of mine. Call it the world of selfie. I think
Oh,
it was
nice.
back in 2014. We wanted to do like the largest selfie collection inspired by the $1 Million Pixel website, where you take a selfie and then you can put a
Yeah.
label. So this is before like Snapchat filters, or maybe around the same time, but you can do, you can take a picture, you can put a label or a sticker, World of Selfie, King of Selfie, or Queen of Selfie. And you just have your picture with that text over. And the idea was that the first 10,000 pictures are for free. You can upload picture from you. And then the next 10,000, we had this crazy like logic how we can charge people like half a cent, half a dollar, and then $1, and then
Yeah.
$5, and up to whatever amount. And the goal was to get to a couple million, to have million selfies, and then actually wanted to print out that as a book and create the largest kind of book of humans from different places in the world, different faces, and just auction it and only have one copy of that. And it could have been not just one book, but maybe like a set of 5 or 10 books, depending on how many selfies we would have gotten. But yeah, it didn't work out. We tried all sorts of things to
But that being said,
try
that's
to make it viral.
No,
But
you're right.
yeah.
I think timing is everything. But you remind me. I had this old idea that you guys know. And recently I was at TechTia. I was like, maybe I should reboot it. Because some of my ideas maybe were too early. But I like Karma Compass. I think, and no one has done it yet. If you remember, you remember Karma Compass?
No, we forget these things.
What was it?
It's just a bad idea.
Karma Compass was something I did back in 2008, and it was just a weekend project for Startup Weekend, so I developed it in a weekend. But the idea was to ask people, where do you like to go? And you could have that by layer, so it's like the local people, the tourists, whatever. And then what happened is it builds up a heat map, and it builds up a compass that tells you where you should get lost. So, for example, you're in New York, and you choose your layer, and you're going to say, I like, whatever, the startup founders layer. Imagine you have enough density. And then you just set up the compass, and the compass tells you, go that direction for, a mile. That's it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you just do it?
No, I'm not going to do it, but I've got a kid here in Estonia, which I'm helping for his startup, and he's an iOS developer, and he's bored, and he doesn't know what to do.
Is he like 12 years old?
I can manage him for that.
Like,
and then
you have a kid?
He's like 20.
Be careful. Don't be like Mike Jeffries from Abercrombie. He's, sex trafficking. He just got arrested today in Florida.
I feel like everybody's a sex trafficant lately. It's just what happened also. I saw another one. No, even
Diddy, of course.
No, sorry, just yeah, that's
Diddy
it. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay, so my bad ideas. You want to say like my worst ideas? Okay, I can give you 2 because Frank gave us 2 because he's greedy when it comes to talking. So one
not because I had so many bad ideas, but yeah.
One of them was okay, I'll do 3. So one was it was a cup, a reusable cup. It was going to be like the Soviet cups that they used in Russia, in Soviet Union, and I wanted to be a foldable cup. And the idea was that it was a green cup, and you just buy it, like not green like it would be green, it would be aluminum or I don't know, whatever fucking material it would have been.
It's like red solo cup but green.
Exactly, and we get a bunch of celebrities to support it. But then I decided to do the SPAC instead, so I think that was better. And then the other one was after I sold BIM. It was not Curator. I was after Curator. It was I went to Italy. Actually, I went to Florence. This is actually when I had a good trip to Florence. And I went to this incredible conference. I met Johnny Ive. I met Mark Newson. I met Karl Lagerfeld. A bunch of people. It was this fashion luxury conference that I snuck into. And I remember my Airbnb didn't have hot water, but whatever, it was fine. And the idea that it came out of was called the Aura ring or Aura watch holder, OURA, for the Apple Watch. And it was a circular leather holder for your Apple Watch that also charged your Apple Watch. And like, we spent a few weeks on it. We built a prototype, 3D printed prototype. This was with my co-founder from Gamma, Sam, because he was a jewelry designer. 3D printed prototype, it worked. we did a whole video on it. And then I met Lars, who created Google Maps, and he's like, "You want to help me raise money for my thing?" And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then the other idea that I did was a transgender social transgender TV network on WhatsApp on Snapchat called Shake, and because I was like, well, I know all these transgender people, and why not? And so I met with a bunch of them, and then like actually I met with Snapchat guys and I met with WPP, and I was like, wait, this is probably a pretty niche idea. I mean, it was supposed to be like a Gen whatever Z or
Z.
millennial type. Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Gen Z would be like 12 years old then because it was what 2016, 2015.
Wow.
So I think it was it was the millennial generation, and it was focused on like the new sort of trends of sexuality or something. And they were like, "What's this white Jewish dude trying to do this?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. It's a good idea." And then realized it was not a good idea. And I met with so many of these stars that became very successful on like Netflix and
Kind
a
of like
bunch of
no. If we talk about what makes us happy, it's true that when you launch a new idea, there's this phase where it's nice because
yeah.
there's like you're excited, it's something new,
Yeah.
That's why again, like the question I ask now, and I think that's what I've learned with experience is I know it's going to be fun, I know it's great, but imagine 10 years of it, at least 10 years of it, and can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it still going to be fun? Do you see yourself doing 10 years of Snapchat? Transgender channel. Is that the next 10 years of your life? And I think
I couldn't see like myself.
I think to me that has been a good way because we have that also when we do a project. I think there's a 2-layer thing at Startup Weekend. We had this thing which I still use for all my startup, which is the anti-shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
And I feel like I focused a lot on that about when you're within a startup and you're like, okay, we're gonna do this startup that has AI code analysis, blah blah, and then we'll be like, oh my god, and we could do this, and we could do that, and we could do this, and we could do that, and you get excited. Same idea, but I think the same thing needs to apply when you're an entrepreneur with a lot of ideas, because you'll be like, oh, I could do this other idea, I could do this other idea. I think you need to me, my anti-shiny object syndrome is, well, would I do that for 10 years? Do I? It's not even do you see yourself doing that for 10 years? It's more like 10 years of that, at least am I okay with it? It's likely you're not going to be able to predict the amount of suffering coming, but at least it's a quick check. Do I want to do, and we had that before, right? Do I want to do 10 years of pizza on chain? Like, no.
I don't think I mean, I know we talked about this approach, thinking whether you want to spend the next 10 years on something, but like the more, as you were talking, I was thinking about maybe if you feel this excitement, happiness for, I don't know, a week and you're working on something, why not double down on that and see how it's going to feel in another week or in another month without putting the stress or the pressure of thinking about 10 years. Because
I know. I'm talking about
in 10 years, you will have a lot of negative things and you'll probably end up hating whatever you're going to be doing.
Yeah, but I'm aware of that. I'm aware that the idea is gonna pivot. I'm aware about all of that. I'm talking about the field. Am I okay for 10 years in the field, and with the idea might change a lot? But again, the reason I'm saying that is because I did that before. I did follow the excitement curve, and then you're like, holy shit, what the fuck was I thinking about? It's like, then you're like, why did I do that for 6 years or 5 years or 4 years? And so it's just by experience. You want to have the excitement. It's easy to check. It's like, I'm super excited and great. I definitely see myself working in that field for 10 years. But if not, you I don't know.
Yeah, if you can put it under a general umbrella of like a film.
It's the general. It's not the specific idea, right? It's like it's just like just the general.
Yeah, that works.
Well,
that works.
I could not see myself building jewelry boxes for 10 years. I could not see myself doing
whatever
the
jury, whatever it is.
Years. I mean, the irony is I've done Tectalia now for almost 5 years. I could see myself doing it for 10 years, but I would not want to be in the place where I was running it the way I'm doing it for 10 years, right?
And to be fair, I already know my field now, so I don't really need to check anymore. I know I like the idea of being surrounded with entrepreneurs, like so meta things like Startup Weekend or like whatever, like a studio with a lot of entrepreneurs. I'm totally okay doing 20 years of my life in that.
We already have
or something. Yeah, or something in tech, or something in democracy, or something in education. Like I know my fields, and anything else, I'll be supporting, I'll be pushing, I'll be structuring something around, but I'm not gonna be. I could do a year on it. I could do 2 years on it. I could set some stuff in orbit, but not 10 years. I know my strengths and weaknesses, I guess, but I also know what makes me happy. To go back to what you're saying, Teddy, which is you know it's gonna suck, but at least if you wake up in the morning and you feel proud of it, I guess pride is a big part of that, and be like, you know what, I'm super proud to tell people I work on that. Would I be super proud today? What do you do? I work in making jewelry. 10 years of every time. It reminds me when I was a consultant, I fucking hated it. And it's like, at first I thought I would love it. That's a good example. Like, I was like, I'm going to study, I'm going to go to the best business school. And then my goal in life is to work in one of a big consulting firm. And then I was there, and every time people would ask me, what do you do? I was so depressed. I was like, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it. It's so fucking boring.
Well,
so maybe it comes from
what
that.
about outside of work? What makes you happy outside of entrepreneurship and
I honestly don't know.
Post-exit founders can...
No, that's a good question. I guess playing video,
I will answer,
watching movies,
Frank
playing
honestly
video
doesn't
games.
know.
Sumerians. Okay, I'll show you. I'll be back.
That's
where's
totally
the
okay.
tablet? We gotta get Frank's Sumerian tablet. So I mean, for me, Teddy, I love people. I love traveling. I love to eat good food. We're hanging out tomorrow. We're gonna go grab a great steak, and we're gonna listen to a talk on New York City and sort of landmarks in New York City. That's exciting.
Those things.
I went upstate with my wife and my brother this weekend. You guys were there and didn't text us. I'm kidding. We're hard to pin down. But really, you are invited to come to upstate whenever you want. So, I love family and friends, and like if it's just me, let's put aside travel, family and friends, everything else. Sometimes it's nice just to sit down and cook a good meal. And eat.
Cooking is good.
And like watch, as you said in the beginning of the show, watch a dumb movie, or like binge a series like 3 hours straight and just like waste some time, because the reality is, like, when you waste some time in life, you feel luxurious. Like it feels like if you can shut your mind off for a second and say, like, well, who cares if Sam Altman just raised whatever $20 billion or $10 billion? Like, you literally can shut your mind off and say, I did this successful thing like Tiktalia, and now I could just fuck it. Like, I can sit in the apartment here and I could spend 3 hours just watching this show, and the world stops, and it doesn't, like, and my bank account's still good, and like everything's still good, my family's still good. That sometimes is the most simple moment. Or like we went apple picking. Did you guys do apple picking this weekend too?
No, we wanted to, but maybe this weekend.
If you want to do apple picking, let me know. You can go up to where my brother's is. It's really good.
Nice.
So,
no, I like that. I think to me, travel is definitely a big one. I'll travel more, like just waking up in the morning by the beach. It's just I can do that more. I feel lately I haven't done it much, just because we have a team, and I don't want like, it's the early days, and I don't want to do my phone calls, from some paradise island. But but a part of that, I think I should do it. It's like I want to be sure we set everything in orbit, and then I'll enjoy it. And learning, I like reading, I like learning, but I haven't done that in a while. So, and the truth is, I haven't, like I think I go by waves. I guess I'm not like, I don't have a rhythm where I enjoy stuff. I just go through phases. But I think that's the thing, is when you have a job, you can have a rhythm, and I really part of me miss that, being an entrepreneur. Because when you have a job, it's like 9 to 5 or 9 to 10, whatever the time is, and it's like, it's Tuesdays this, Wednesdays that, and as soon as you're an entrepreneur, none of that life is possible. So you have to find something else than rhythm, and you have to be, it really boils down to 5-10 years, push, exit, and then a year or two break, as we talked about before, and then you go back at it. I think that's the way.
Yeah. What makes you happy, Teddy?
But anyway, good question.
Teddy.
New York makes Teddy happy.
Yeah,
Teddy loves New York.
Riverside. I'm Riverside. Teddy loves Riverside.
Nowhere.
Riverside
makes me happy, and a lot of things related to New York, and people in New York specifically are
Oh yeah, they're
interesting time
characters.
because everyone keeps saying that New Yorkers are this or that or rude or whatever, but I think there are a lot of
No, New
good
York.
people
New York
here.
people
So
are
like
amazing.
this,
Amazing. Everybody hates New York, but the New Yorkers are amazing.
yes, exactly. But I love like I don't know, I love Broadway shows. That makes me happy watching a show. That
Oh.
kind of show. I
I
want
invited you tonight.
to
I
be
invited you
entertained in that.
tonight. Go to Sunset Boulevard.
Can do it
Just walk.
tonight, unfortunately, no. But I
Just
love
walk over to
lunching
the
things.
Just walk to. If you go walk to the box office for me after the podcast to check to see if they have rush tickets, it would mean the world. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'll do
What
it.
else?
Like travel in a sense of having to like knowing that I'm have upcoming travel in like a week or month or whatever. That idea of having something to look forward to, I think that gives me excitement always, especially to like new destinations, I guess. And when it's not conditioned, when you don't have like work to do there, when it's more like exploratory. Yeah, watching dumb stuff, cooking, all those things are good. Just creating space in your mind, as you said, doesn't matter if this guy raced or that company exited or whatever. It really doesn't matter. It just sometimes you need to sit and do whatever feels right at that moment and let yourself be in this position where you just have a lot of empty room, empty space. Because in this everyday life, we have the I don't know, the show tomorrow, the steak, the whatever, the podcast. The space is very limited. It feels like you're in a box, and then you're constantly hitting walls and you're bouncing and you're moving around. But like giving yourself that space, it helps you, I guess, grow and feel more at ease.
Yep.
You make me think what makes me happy I never had, but I think all of us want, which is the fuck you money. Then you have infinite space in your head. You know, it's like
yeah, but so I think what I said is also you could create that situation in your mind, being in a position as if money doesn't matter, and feel like you are in that luxurious spot where you can have whatever you want, feel whatever you want, enjoy with whomever you want.
Yeah, but it's
in reality you can do that. You don't want to hang out with random folks. You want to hang out with Gabriel, and you can do that. There's no like I don't know amount of money.
You want to? I'm not sure. Again, you want to have a family. Me too. All of us. You know, as soon as you have a kid, you cannot dream. You cannot live in Disneyland, right? Which is like you have to deal with reality, and it's
so
reality.
So I'm saying the opposite.
As much as you can abstract. Okay.
Yeah, but you have to be able to dream a little bit. You have to be able to forget about these conditions, that you have to have things in order for something else to happen.
I also don't think.
I don't know if you have to dream.
Hold on. I want to
satisfy yourself with what you have.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
you can interrupt me.
But it's not just that. But like, I've now felt that everybody says kids change you. I disagree with the notion that kids completely change you. So, and this is why, because I was hanging out with AJ recently, and he was on our podcast earlier this year, and you know he had a baby in May, cute little boy, and he's like, you guys travel so much, you and Nastya, you're always traveling. Can't you be in one place at one time? And I said, well, we're just trying to get this all in before we have the baby, and he's like, you know, you're gonna keep traveling when you have the baby. It's like not gonna stop. Like you guys are still gonna up to a certain age, right? And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, he's right. So like everybody always says things drastically change with kids. They drastically change when kids start going to school, right? But you know,
no, I think it changed before. I mean, it's even measured by science. You have like hormonal change that change the way your prefrontal cortex is wired.
You want to spend.
It's pretty deep change.
No, yes, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is some of the things that make you happy will remain, like traveling, like going to Broadway shows. Yeah.
But I think
you'll take your kids.
I think your kids will make you happy. I remember that guy quote, which, and again, I don't have a kid, but I'm expecting that intellectually. Where the guy said that, you know, you'll be angry at your kid because he's going to paint on your beautiful
intellectual
walls.
Birth.
No, but it's The guy said it's true. I believe that's true. He said, you're going to be angry at your kid because he's destroying your beautiful apartment or whatever. But he says very fast, this destroyed world, you're going to miss it. So at least I'm trying to be mentally ready to not be angry, but extremely happy, like for these little things that you will regret really fast, which we see from the other hand, as we age and our parents age, you look back into, when I was a kid, it was a happy time. And so that's fine. Let's talk about it when we all have kids.
When we all have kids.
Still say the same thing.
No.
Well, regardless. Go ahead, Gabe.
No, Frank. Teddy, go.
No, I mean, regardless of like kids or whatever makes you happy, or things will change for sure, but you got to be able to have this ability to wind down whatever, like forget about the things in the world and just try to create this space. Because as you said,
no, you have to work.
Our parents, they age, we age, and life just like things move really fast.
And you have to work on your mental wellness for sure, on your stress and all of that. Like if not, you're going to be miserable, and so it's important to take time to do that. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing, and then we'll end here. The other thing that was really important that two friends, but one friend in particular, told me recently about kids, is what he said is you and your partner. I'm married, so my wife Nastya and I, we need to make sure we continue to do one thing alone together, that's our thing, early on when the kids are born, right? So and through the kids growing up, because if not, you lose yourself, you lose each other in the kids and the raising of the kids, and you don't have time, you don't really have time for yourself. And I think that's also key in startups too, for happiness, and it fits into that. And Frank is going to have a counter argument to that, so I want to hear that. And then Frank has to give us the quote for this week.
No, I was going to say it's a very American approach. It's like you need to have date night.
Well, the guy was Italian. I don't know. It's like so I don't know. What do you want me to say? The guy was Italian. He's not American.
I know. But it's whatever. To me, like I feel like we have 200,000 years plus the primates version to know how to deal with it. So I'm not too worried about it. It's fine. We're programmed for that. It's hardware. You can whatever happened is happening to everybody before. I have quotes.
People don't. Yeah. Okay. Go.
I have two quotes. People don't what?
I'm hardwired.
So you were going to say people don't.
So just no.
No, it's fine.
I just think.
But people break up. Whatever. It's like the same as monkeys.
I think you're too naive to feel that everything's so hardwired and that things don't evolve.
No, I'm not naive. It's an observation. It's very obvious.
I like how none of us had kids, and we talked about.
But I'm saying let's not talk about it until we have it.
No.
And then,
here's
what
we'll
have it,
not
and
having
I will say
kids.
exactly the same thing, making my point. I'll be like, look,
Here's
it's exactly the same
what
thing.
not having kids and thinking about having kids has taught me about B2B SaaS. This is what we're actually doing right now.
That's a great title.
Can we actually have somebody who has kids at some point on this podcast?
I mean, we have kids. We have startups. Startups are many kids.
they're
some of them.
kids.
Some of them.
Well, in the startups,
some of them died young.
You don't go to.
Oh, Frank.
Startup makes you happy and miserable. Sure.
Quote.
No, it's fine. I was thinking about it. But I've got two quotes from one of my favorite philosophers. The one I always use or always think about, but I start to forget about it. It's we live in the best of all possible worlds. I really like this one. And I believe it's true. And it's been heavily criticized, but I still believe people are wrong. I think we do live in the best of all possible worlds. It's a very optimistic quote. And the second one is everything that is possible demands to exist. And both of them are from...
two quotes? What the fuck? We don't get two quotes. What is two quotes?
It's fine. I just...
this makes Frank
because I like Leibniz
now
a lot.
We know.
People need to... Exactly. People need to know Leibniz more. Leibniz.
Which one? Leibniz.
Leibniz.
Who's Leibniz?
What do you mean? You don't know who's Leibniz? Really? Leibniz? Maybe I mispronounced it in English. He's the guy who invented the differential calculus.
Leibniz. I think it's pronounced
Leibniz.
Yeah.
Gottfried.
No, I don't know. No.
I must mispronounce it. Maybe there's another. He's one of the most famous philosophers of all time. He's
More
like a
famous.
famous mathematician, famous. He pretty much invented everything with
Let's see
Newton.
if I can. Oh wow. Yeah. Let me see if
Cool.
you're pronouncing it right.
Good for
Okay,
him.
So
cool.
anyway, we live in the best world possible. I think about that every day. I'm like, people might say it's crap, but it's the best one. It's the best crap.
We do, yeah. Gotta be grateful for it.
So.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's my
Till next
quote.
week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bye.